Coach, let's talk about the running backs. Let's talk about your feelings about talent's obviously involved, but there's maybe other things involved as important or maybe even more important.
The running back position, there's three of them. There's three things that are not natural to a ball carrier or a running back. So number one is ball security. Number two is pass protection. And the last one, I've had some arguments with some really good coaches about this, and that's called the jump cut.
All right, let's start with the most important one, ball security.
Ball security. So Blake Corum, a Heisman candidate, when I watched him play, first of all, I've seen him live several times. But I started, first of all, this guy's a tough player, a great player. But then I started watching him over, you know what, he's extremely well coached. And then I went and looked up their coaching staff. It's Mike Hart,
right,
the former great player for the Wolverines. I also checked his stats. He never fumbled. Really? So that apple doesn't fall from the tree. This, first of all, is a great player, but he's one of the best coached running backs in the country as well. So let's talk about ball security. This is Blake coming, ripping through the offense line. This is not coaching. This is talent. Right. Blake Corum's been doing this since he's been in the backyard since he's been 5 years old. But here I want to show you coaching. He's now into traffic. The ball is already clawed. It's locked, but watch him clamp it with a backside hand. And this changed several years ago. It used to be take the hand over the top. Now you're going to grab your wrist because see the guy from, this is perfect. This is textbook teaching for the Wolverine running backs, for really any running back. Watch the guy from Maryland. What's he trying to do?
He's trying
to rip the ball out of there.
Right.
Blake Corum has complete disregard for his own body here. He takes the left hand. He's not worried about bracing himself. Right. He's locked in. No one's going to get that ball out. To me, that's coaching. That's Mike Hart doing an excellent job coaching Blake Corum.
Coach, how about you demonstrate for us? Show us what it used to be and show us what it is now.
So the first part of the ball you got to cover is clawed. You claw the ball. You know, people that do this, the ball can come out the front. Now it can't come out the front.
Right.
How do you keep it coming out the back? You lock it. You take the elbow and you lock it. This is where the game changed, though. About 5, 6, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, was always take this hand and put it over the top.
Right.
That's called a meat hand. But go ahead and grab my wrist here. You can, can rip my wrist open.
Right.
Teams got so good at ripping it open. So the counter was you take this hand, instead of throwing it over the top, you grab that wrist. Now try to pull it out.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
You can't.
That's perfect.
That's perfect.
Ball security 1, pass pro number 2.
Yeah, I love taking a look at this. Is Illinois, a very well-coached team. You said that from the summer, Brett Bielema and his staff. Corey Patterson, the running back coach at Illinois, once again, I don't know who he is, but the film doesn't lie. This tailback, Chase Brown, is very well coached. This is really hard to do. He's coming all the way across the formation. And I want you to watch this. This is not a soft protection by Chase. Watch him accelerate his feet and cut this guy right in half.
So there's nothing wrong with Chase cutting there. Some people would say, stay up, stay up. This is a good decision by Chase Brown.
It depends on who the player is. I would not like players because I think it's an easy way out. But you're going to see from this angle here, Jerry, that the tailback has no choice. The guy's coming. Look how far he's got to get.
Right.
He comes across. If he would have stayed up, he might have got ran right into in the quarterback. My man accelerates with everything he's got right through that.
Right.
I mean, there's a hammer and there's a nail here. Usually the defensive player is the hammer. Chase Brown here is accelerating, cuts him right in half.
So, Coach, I'm really surprised you put the jump cut in the category of pass pro and ball security.
That's just years of experience, and I probably have had a dozen arguments with some really good coaches about, and my whole point is, if it's a coach skill, ball security is a coach skill. What's that mean? You better work it every day.
Right.
Is pass protection a coach skill? Yes, you better work it every day. Is a jump cut a taught skill? Yes. And here's why I think this, Jerry. Take a look here. So this is Blake Corum. You're asking a tailback to get a first down. You throw yourself in there and get the first down. However, he sees that the backside A-B gap are closed up. You know, Maryland does a nice job. They throw everything inside. Watch him get behind the offensive line. That is not a natural skill.
Right.
That's something that has to be worked on. And then the second part of the jump cut is to get vertical, shoulder square to the line of scrimmage as fast as possible. This is, once again, you got to grade everything. This is an A+. It's an A+ by Blake Corum, but it's also an A+ by running back coach Mike Hart to get this done. That is not a skill that has not been worked on.
That's interesting. I've honestly never looked at it that way, but you have certainly convinced me.